Hey everybody, Dom here from Lensprotogo and Lens Rentals, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at two RGB LED light panels, the ARRI Skypanel S30-C and the Litepanels Gemini 1x1. So I don't have to say it, but I'm going to say it anyways. LED lighting is becoming a big deal in filmmaking at all levels. They're great for amateurs because they're lightweight and cheap. And LED lights are also everywhere on big budget productions because they provide great lighting without drawing a ton of power or getting too hot. Also, they're easily linked via DMX, and build-wise, they're pretty well suited for almost any type of shoot. So hint hint, one of these lights is a lot more popular in the professional world than the other. And no surprise, that's the ARRI Skypanel. When ARRI released the Skypanel in 2015, they exploded onto the scene. All of the filmmaking accounts I followed at that time were absolutely flooded with pictures of this light on set, and I can understand why. It's an awesome option for anything from just adding a kick of color to a shot or DMXing 100 of them together for a massive wall of soft light, which happens more often than you'd think. But the reason for this video is not to gloat about the abilities of the Skypanel, because everybody knows how great it is. Rather, in this video, I want to bring up another very comparable light that you might want to consider buying or renting instead of the Skypanel, simply because the Skypanel is rather expensive. And that is the Litepanels Gemini. So Litepanels is the brand that brought you the Astra, which is an extremely popular light for news gathering or really any sort of work like that. So in 2017, they responded to ARRI by releasing an LED panel light with full RGBW capabilities, DMX tethering, and comparable power and performance to the Skypanel, and they called it the Gemini. Now, why is that relevant? Well, the 1x1 Skypanel, the S30-C that I have right behind me, is a $4,300 light, while the Litepanels Gemini is only $2,100. So I do want to talk about what these lights can do, but mainly I want to figure out why this light is worth over twice the amount of this light when they're actually quite similar. And ultimately, we'll answer which one of these lights is right for your situation. So let's talk about build and power. I do happen to be really impressed with ARRI's design on the Skypanel. It's sleek looking and has a very sturdy build that's clearly meant to last. But that also renders it a bit heavy. This handle is really nice to have, and the yoke is also very well designed. The front panel is removable and even has an additional slot for more diffusion. One thing that's a bit annoying about the Skypanel is the external ballast, and my problem with it isn't that it's external. And my problem with it isn't that it's external. Wow. And my problem isn't that it's external, it's that it's enormous. And it slightly defeats the purpose of having a slim profile light. There is a neat little slot in the back, however, where you can attach a mounting plate for the ballast, but with this on, it kind of loses its slim profile, and it actually makes it really rear heavy on the yoke. Also, both of these lights are able to be powered off of a battery as well as wall power, but the Skypanel only operates at 50% intensity when being powered off a battery. The Gemini has a nice rugged build as well that's a bit more boxy, but there's no handle, and handling it by the yoke can get a little bit tricky because there's not actually a lot of space to grab it by. But the light is more well balanced on the yoke than the Skypanel is with the ballast attached. Speaking of that, weight-wise, and this is a big deal for me, the Gemini as a whole unit is lighter than just the body of the Skypanel without the ballast. Personally, that's a big draw for the Gemini because the first time I picked up an ARRI Skypanel, I thought, darn, that was heavier than I expected. And if there's that much difference with a single light, then rigging 4 or more of these on the same lighting rig would be significantly lighter than doing the same setup with Skypanels. Okay, we've talked about build and power. Now I want to talk about menu navigation in these two lights. This makes a big difference on set because you're going to want to be able to change your lights quickly and accurately, and if your light allows you to do that, your shoot is going to be able to go that much smoother. So in a $4,000+ light, you should be scrutinizing these things to make sure that you're getting what you paid for. And fortunately, ARRI didn't disappoint there because the menu system in the Skypanel is very well realized. It works on a 3-dial system, the blue dial being the main one for selection and intensity. It's got a menu, cancel, mode, and preset button as well. The dials respond really nicely, but on my unit, they occasionally jump around a little bit. But guess what I'm going to tell you? The Gemini's menu navigation is also really great, and it has nearly every feature you'll find in the Skypanel's menu. It's also a 3-dial system with 1 main dial for selecting, and the only additional buttons are for 6 customizable presets, which is a nice feature. Okay, that's all fine, but let's get down to what really matters in this comparison: light performance. Now, so far we know that the Litepanels Gemini is significantly cheaper and lighter than the ARRI Skypanel, and those are 2 major factors of an LED light: cost and weight. But the most important reason people turn to LED lights is, of course, the amazing range of values that you can get from one unit, especially an RGBW capable one. Now, surely this is where the Gemini falls short, right? I mean, that ballast on the Skypanel has to be that large for a reason. It surely throws way more light than the Gemini. Well, that's not necessarily true. The Skypanel does output more light, but not by that much. Now, both of these lights render color exceptionally well, but one has a near perfect CRI index of 99 in the Kelvin temperature scale, and I'll let you guess which one that is. It's the Gemini. I bet you didn't see that coming unless you've actually paid attention to this video up until this point and realized that there's kind of a theme going on here. The more expensive name brand doesn't necessarily mean better. Okay, so of course, one of the most desired features about lights like these is the full RGB spectrum that they offer. I think you'll find that each of these lights has very similar color capabilities, but what sets these 2 products apart is actually how you get there. The Litepanels Gemini has HSI and RGB modes to help you navigate through color selection, but the Skypanel has both of those modes and an XY coordinate selector, so you can dial in your color in a much more precise way. Now, one thing about the Skypanel that its users love are these built-in, pre-programmed effects that don't require any DMX programming to run and are stored on the unit's local memory. Well, guess what? The Gemini has tons of effects too. Not quite as many as the Skypanel, but what the Gemini can do that the Skypanel can't is allow you to fine-tune those effects a lot. Now, the effects on the Skypanel have some options to fine-tune, but not nearly as in-depth as they are on the Gemini. Okay, now this is the time where I stand here and tell you that the Gemini is way more worth buying than the Skypanel, and if you're an independent person and not a big production company with a bunch of money, you're kidding yourself if you want to spend nearly $4,500 on one single LED light, when you could get 2 1x1 Geminis for that price, or the 2x1 Gemini with plenty of money left over for beer. Or anything. It could be anything. Although that's true, I'm not going to push you too far towards the Gemini because there's actually a Skypanel competitor that came out earlier this year that I have a feeling is going to be just as good, if not better, than the 2 lights I have behind me today. And that is the Aperture Nova 300C. So Aperture announced this light in 2019, and now it's finally available. I just don't happen to have one in front of me right now. But if I did have one in front of me, I would be going on and on about how it's so comparable to the ARRI Skypanel for just $1,700, which is a way more appropriate price for an LED panel light if you ask me. But anyways, I don't want to talk too much about a light that I haven't got the chance to play with yet, but I did feel the need to mention it because its release specs are really impressive and hard to ignore. So here's my final thoughts on these lights. If you're a production company with a lot of extra wiggle room in the budget and you want to own high quality lights that will be relevant for years to come and are super well suited for almost any situation, especially tethered in a big rig via DMX, then the ARRI Skypanel is probably a great option for you. However, if you're an independent video creator or even a small production company with not that much wiggle room in the budget for lighting, then I think the Gemini would be an awesome option for you. As I said before, if you did plan on spending $4,000+ on a single light, you could just as easily get 2 1x1 Geminis for the same price as the Skypanel S30-C, which would be super worth it in my opinion because these types of lights are great to have in numbers. As a final opinion, I'm tempted to say that the Aperture Nova 300C could be an even better option than these 2 lights that I've talked about in this video already, but I just can't say that for sure yet. So if you're like me and you're waiting to get your hands on a 300C to test it and try it out, you can always rent the 2 lights that I've talked about in this video already to help you inform your decision about what you're going to buy or rent for your next shoot. Okay, I think I've blabbered on about light panels enough today. So like I said, the Skypanel S30-C and the Gemini 1x1 and 2x1 are all available to rent on the Lensprotogo or Lens Rentals websites. And also keep an eye out for the listing of the 300C because I'm pretty sure that'll be coming down the pipe soon. Also, if you have anything to add to our discussion about RGB LED panel lights, make sure you drop a comment in the comment section. And if you liked this video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned in for more weekly content. And we'll see you in the next one.